you please stop coming to the gym naked starts a public discourse, a public uproar. Like, all we want to do is come to the gym and work out, but no.
Boy, if you don't get...
Some of the outfits women wear at the gym nowadays are just so bizarre. Like some of these onesies and like the spandex and stuff I see, or even the tops, like I can see your nipples through your shirt. And then it's almost as if you stuck your fingers inside your lips to push your shorts in there.
Bombastic side eye. Criminal.
And then just grab your shorts and almost rip them to pull them up your
Bombastic side eye. Criminal offensive.
I'm all for women wearing whatever you guys want. I get it. It's your body, your choice. But don't be one of the women at the gym that complains when men are looking at you when you're literally wearing paper mache as clothing.
Same person.
Same person. All right. Still too much.
Still too much. Okay.
Okay, I think that those shorts just rolled up a little bit.
That's too much.
Okay, just off rip.
You know it's gotten bad when even the men are asking us to cover up.
Old lady shorts, bloomers that are like bubbles underneath. Are you okay? I have never seen a single person wear that. That is a diaper. There used to be one simple basic rule. Look at the invite and dress for the room.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Alexion Cox, your host. Today's video is about dress codes and how they only affect women. I'm going to be breaking this down the only way I know how, a sociological explanation for why you want women to wear more clothes. It's not modesty. It's not modesty. You think it's modesty. That's what you think. But I'm gonna explain to y'all in this video what I think about this whole thing. I cannot stand this debate that surrounds women's bodies and the clothing that they choose to put on their bodies. It's honestly sickening. I'm tired of it. I'm honestly tired because I've recorded this video like 3 or 4 times and the app didn't want to work. It didn't want to save the video. I'm trying to do the prompter app and the prompter app didn't want to save the video. So now I'm getting annoyed and now I'm posting this like this. Matter of fact, women should have a choice in what they wear, do, say, present, free from patriarchal scrutiny, religious pearl clutching, and the typical pick-me / misogynistic red pill think pieces. The scariest part is the speed at which we regress back to more puritanical thought processes and norms. We're regressing back to a more traditional mindset. And I blame the state of our world. Our lack of access to resources, our lack of control in our day-to-day lives is what is creating this. This entire conversation is about women's bodies. I've watched countless videos about people making their takes, and even some people who aren't even the most hardcore conservative religious people still make takes adjacent to the harmful nature of controlling women's bodies. I'm not gonna go as far as say these creators are malicious, but there's one creator in general that I watched that inspired me to make this video because I didn't exactly agree with her video, Janae Danielle. She's someone that I've been watching for a while now. She made a video, No One Knows How to Dress, I believe that's the title, and she also made another video called No One Wears Clothes to the Gym Anymore, but she's just one creator out of many that I watched where I did not agree with their position on the video because everyone was trying to take the stance that women are dressing more sexually and that's the problem and you're not being respectful of people in public and all these different things and blah, 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 blah. It's the same old talking points. And I feel like we just get deeper and deeper into these talking points and we're just gonna move further and further and further back to puritanical type of society and culture where all women have to wear clothes head to toe and nothing's gonna be shown. I feel like that's what we're wanting to move back to, but that's so regressive. Every think piece about this issue, especially in the clothing landscape, whether it's revealing, not revealing, has to do with women. We over-sexualize women and then blame them and punish them for the oppression we enact on them. Men and women alike jump in joy anytime we can dunk on the so-called woke feminist woman, the sexually liberated woman, the progressive woman, the career woman, the girl boss. We jump in joy anytime we can dunk on these women because what their liberation represents makes us uncomfortable, makes most men and less progressive women very uncomfortable. We over-sexualize women and then blame them and punish them for the oppression we enact on them. The thing about it is exercising and performing masculinity a lot of times is it's the unhealthy nature that society has socialized men into believing we're born to dominate and control women's bodies. Women are told how to look, how to dress, how to speak, how to act, how not to act, how not to speak, how not to dress.
Oh, you're a mom? No more clubbing. No more clubbing for you, Miss Ma'am. You got kids and babies to take care of. Get in there and make Susie Lou, Johnny B, make them some food. Please stop.
Now, do your job as the woman you are. You want to have kids? Well, this is your life now. And you're not going to be paid very well for it.
Oh, you're a wife? Well, then you should have sex with your husband whenever he wants, at his command. Stand at attention, woman, and get ready for...
Ready for my arrival, worm.
You need to leave.
Most men will say things like, women who dress more modest are worthy of my protection, my provision. They're worthy to be my wife. They're worthy to be the mother. They're worthy of bearing my children. The reason why men expect this level of submission is because the world tells us it is our birthright to control women's bodies. And it does not help that one singular religion lends itself to this idea. I won't say any names because I do not want to get attacked. Women who perform femininity in a more traditional way, traditional in the sense of American traditional feminism, will critique the girl boss feminist woman in a similar way that the traditional man would, but they will say things like, women who are more modest are more feminine, or you hear the word classy thrown around a lot. Feminine, classy, modest. It's seen as a divine type of femininity to be more modest, more reserved, more submissive. You come off as more agreeable, more attractive, more likable than the other women, the assertive girl boss, career-driven woman that no one can control. That is the narrative that is spun. Internalized misogyny is what creates this in women, in my opinion, and patriarchal norms is what creates this in all of us, men and women alike. But specifically, the woman has to adopt these talking points to directly juxtapose themselves against the girl boss feminist. Women have to adopt these points not only for survival, but to signal to the men that they want, these are the types of women you should want. Keep in mind, either side can leverage either critique. Both sides use both because both sides are under the same umbrella, patriarchy and misogyny. And I'm not exempt from this. You're not exempt from this. We all were raised in the society, socialized in the society the same way. So we're all going to struggle with these ideas. And I think that's why some of the most, I would say like even killed people are still making takes about clothing and why people should wear certain types of clothing, because even those people that understand the harmful nature are still a part of this society's condition. So they cannot separate themselves from those inherently puritanical societal norms types of thinking. So it is a bit of a culture shock when we see more sexually liberated people. The final boss of all these critiques is, what about the kids?
Raiden, Earthrealm is free.
Like Shao Kahn and MK9, this is the final boss of all of this conversation. Most people agree kids should not be exposed to certain things, and that is how people leverage the children in almost all conversations that make adults uncomfortable about something. It goes back to the kids somehow being negatively affected. Instead of understanding the other side, they just want to win and be right. They will invoke the spirit of the children may be affected negatively. This tactic is most effective when it's anything sexual that makes men and women both uncomfortable in some way. Seeing people dress a certain way for a long time made me uncomfortable until I had to understand I am only operating this way or uncomfortable in this way because I've been socialized to sexualize. Everyone has an issue with sexual displays of any kind if it means children will be exposed, if children will be affected. At face value, I understand this. This makes sense. Kids should not be exposed to sex or sexuality. In direct contrast to that conversation, to that take, I learned about it in middle school with parent consent. That is my take. With parent consent, children should be allowed to learn about these things. But I would argue more revealing clothing is not necessarily exposing children to anything. I think exposing children is exposing children. I don't think wearing clothes isn't necessarily exposing children. I think intent matters. For my original questions, is it time and place? And some people will argue that this next example I'm going to make it lends itself to time and place, but I'm going to make another point. At the beach, at water parks, some of the most revealing clothing you will ever see as a child. And that is the standard. That is the norm. We're all revealed. I feel as if children can go to water parks and beaches and that's not seen as exposing them to sex and over sexualizing and revealing sex to children at an age where they shouldn't know about it, I feel like the same can be said about seeing a stranger in public wearing revealing clothing. I would make the argument children are not the ones over sexualizing things or sexualizing things. This is a behavior that is taught. This is a socialization. This is taught from adults and maybe their peers. But if their peers, which would also be children, are going to be learning it from somewhere else. They're learning it from adults. They're learning it from us. We are the adults. So if children are getting something from somewhere, they're getting it from us. Children are not inherently sexualizing anything. They don't understand that. We create the sexuality. We over sexualize things. We teach the children about how things are sexual and all of these different things. This does not just stop at seeing strangers in public wearing revealing clothing. This also extends to social media. You might have noticed I'm filming this in a different location than where I usually film. I believe where I left off in the previous part of my edit is talking about social media. The last thing I should have brought up was how social media is also a part of why women feel more comfortable being sexually clad and things like OnlyFans or exposing yourself to people in a more revealing way. I talked about social media a lot. So the rise of social media influencing and posting sexual content and more revealing content, that is not just attributed to women changing their mindsets or adopting a more feminist, progressive mindset. This is also because it's always been profitable for women to use their bodies to make money because there's a market for it. Men quite literally uphold and have created a market where women can use their beauty to make money. So whenever men talk about all women are doing this, that's not really true. You have to have desirable body parts or a desirable face or all of the above to even make it in that market. And what we're seeing now with OnlyFans especially, a lot of the times the people making that kind of money where it's 10K per month is the very, very tippity top, the very, very small percent, the 1% of the 1%. Most OnlyFans women are women that influence, that post their bodies in that way, are not making that kind of money, hence why they are still looking for a man to secure a lifestyle for themselves, or they're still working a 9-to-5 or relying on their education to pay their bills, while in the meantime they make extra cash from what they do on social media. At the end of the day, an increase of more sex positivity is not the reason why people are revealing themselves more or posting more sexual content. I don't think a lot of people understand what it means when people say correlation does not equal causation. That's a very important key concept, because that paradigm is more so talking about there's more under the surface. You have to go deeper than 1 + 1 = 2 when it comes to things like that, because one can conclude, okay, women are posting themselves online, it's more acceptable, they're making money from it, that's why they're posting themselves online. If you dig a little bit deeper, you will find that 1, there's a market for it. 2, men are the ones paying into this market. By and large, the majority of people paying into this market are men. The men are seeking this type of content. And 3, women have always been in a position to where they would have to either do sexual favors to gain access to different things, but now the difference is they're getting paid for it. But for example, men make overnight millionaires through OnlyFans. A young woman by the name of Little Tay, who was famous on social media for some things that I'm not really aware of, she became an overnight millionaire when she turned 18 and created an OnlyFans, because the men that knew her when she was a child, once she became 18, they wanted to see her in that way. So these are the type of people that are paying the bills of women that start OnlyFans or into sex work of any kind. And I don't think there's anything wrong with sex work or women making money from their bodies. I think the issue is when they're blamed and punished for something that men uphold and have created. The way I see it, either women let men control them or they let men control them. And what I mean by that is you either buy into the sex positive culture and make a bag, but either you buy into a more sex positive society and culture and you allow men to consume your body, obviously with payment, and that comes with being talked to a certain way, being perceived a certain way, essentially allowing men to control how you're perceived and talked to on one end and wanting more and more sexual content from you to fulfill their needs for payment, of course. Or you let men control you in a different sense, which is they control that you're not doing those things. They tell you that you can't do it because you will not have access to these type of men, this type of lifestyle you want to live. It's basically like either you're damned if you do or damned if you don't. Either men are able to control you through seeing you as inherently sexual, meaning you're not worthy of protection and provision. You're only worthy of being paid for that service and being treated like a quote unquote a promiscuous woman, should I say, or you let men control you through, hey, she's one of the good ones kind of narrative type of thing. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't is how I would place that for women, because the only right choice is the choice that you make for yourself. If you're making these choices based upon what men think, then it's always going to be a man in control at the end of the day. And even if you are making choices for yourself, there's an argument to be made that it's going to be a man in control with the type of society that we live in. We're clinging to the only semblance of control, which is controlling the women, controlling the narrative around women and other minority groups. I'm making the point that we have a bad habit of attacking women for problems they don't create. That's what the entirety of this video was about. I wanted to show you how women did not create this issue, but are blamed and punished for this issue by men and women alike. Women cannot win in these conversations because it's centered around what men deem as valuable, what men deem as correct, what men deem as worthy of attention and praise. That is the problem. Women are not allowed to be separate entities from men. Thank you for watching this video. And if you enjoyed listening to me yapulate, yappification, the yappification of YouTube. If you enjoyed me yapping, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. Do people need to wear more clothes? Do women need to cover up? Did I do a good job of explaining how I felt about everything? Let me know in the comments below. Stay tuned, more videos coming soon. I don't know my content schedule. I don't know how much I want to post, but I had a really good time talking to y'all and filming this video. You guys have a great day. I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.